Now Shabbos Yidden. This week's Parshah is Parshah's Balak. I heard a gewaltige word from the Abderuf. The Abderuf says like this: Balak, Veis Lam Kuf. You take each letter, it spells out Ve'ahavta l'reich kamoicha, to love every single Yid. Wow. So, one of the Chassidim from the Abderuf came over to the Rebbe. He said, Rebbe, Ve'ahavta l'reich kamoicha is not Veis Lam Kuf, it's Vav Lam Chav. So the Abderuf said back to him, he said, oh, you see? You're so medactic, you're so careful in every single letter, and Veis, Vav, you're so medactic, and you look at a person, and you're so medactic, and you're so careful in every single thing, you'll see the flaws, you'll never come to V'ahavta l'reich kamoicha, you'll never come to love every single Yid, truly loving every Yid. The Abderuf says, sometimes you just gotta be mevater, you have to look over it. Balak, V'ahavta l'reich kamoicha. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Stay inspired.
Shalom Yidin. This week's Parshah, as mentioned by Shlomi in his beautiful Devar Torah, is Parshah Balak. And the reason for this little part 2 of the weekly wrap-up is I've had a question for a very long time answered in this week's Parshah, and I wanted to share it with all of you. My question was, why is it someone who doesn't have a bris milah, maybe because he was born with a birth defect, maybe he has a medical condition, if he were to have a bris milah, that it would put his life in danger, whatever the case might be, he's not allowed to eat the korban Pesach, among some other mitzvahs he's not allowed to do. Why is that? It seems a little bit unfair, as opposed to someone with a birth defect or a medical issue that both of his arms are amputated, and he can't do the mitzvah of putting on tefillin. It's obvious, you physically can't put on tefillin. But someone who can't have a bris milah, they can still physically eat the korban Pesach. So why is he not allowed to? In this week's Parshah, we see the differences between Moshe Rabbeinu and Bilam. Now, Bilam was a Navi, he was a prophet for the Goyish nations, and he was very evil and wicked, and did lots of avodah zarah, idol worship, among other bad things. And one of the many differences between him and Moshe Rabbeinu, when Moshe Rabbeinu were to receive a nevuah, a message from Hashem, he'd be able to do it standing up straight and tall and strong. But when Bilam were to receive it, if he was standing up, it would knock him down to the ground. He physically couldn't take it. The Midrash says the reason for this is because he was uncircumcised. He didn't have a bris milah. That's why he physically couldn't take it. We see Hashem does a beautiful nace of throwing our spiritual neshama to our physical guf, to our physical body. Now, there's another story that relates to this point, that there was a queen who wanted to test Shlomo HaMelech, King Solomon. She wanted to test his wisdom and see if just by looking, if he could tell the differences of a group of men, which men had circumcision and which did not, which had a bris milah and which did not. So they brought the group in front of Shlomo HaMelech. Shlomo HaMelech had the Kohen Gadol open the Aron HaKodesh, open the Ark, and those who had a bris milah bowed down, and those who did not fell down on their faces. And Shlomo HaMelech said to the queen, all those that fell down, they do not have a bris milah. She was astounded. She was, oh my gosh, how did he know? And he learns it out from this. So we see, to some degree, at face value, it seems like they physically could eat the korban Pesach, but maybe spiritually they can't. Our spiritual neshama is sewn to our physical growth, our body. So physically, to a certain degree at least, they can't take eating a korban Pesach, someone with such a medical condition. And of course, Hashem doesn't do anything that's unfair. He's 100% good and MS. But it's a very beautiful point I wanted to share with all of you. May you all have an amazing, inspirational Shabbat. And don't forget to stay inspired.